I get paired up with a Cursecar list, and luckily this one doesn't have a Mewtwo level X. So, here's the top 16. Game 1 he gets multiple Spiritombs to start, and I get a handful of knockouts with Sableye, but a slow start overall. When he picks up with a Gengar level X and an Expert Belt, he's just too powerful for me to counter, and I scoop to preserve time for future games. Well, luckily, Game 2 lasts 5 seconds. He starts Ghastly, and I start Sableye. I attach a basic Dark and Overconfident for 40 plus Weakness for a knockout. It's a cheap knockout, but the deck is a Gengar counter, and that's how it goes. On to Game 3. I open with Garchomp C in a double colorless, attach the double colorless, and Claw Swipe for 10 to his Spiritomb. He uses the Spiritomb to get a Claydol out, and on my turn I attach a Dark, level up, and Dragon Rush to knock out the Claydol. From here, his setup is slowed big time, and I take off with constant sniping to win the game. On to the top 8. Top 8 pairs me up against one of my 2 Swiss losses, the Gyarados. It turns out he's 8-0 at this point, but I brought our last game to 1 prize, and I'm confident that I can win this one. Game 1, I come to the horror that I have 2 Garchomp C level X prized, and I don't run Azelf. I have a Garchomp C waiting on the bench while I keep trying to drop his hand away from a Gyarados by let loosing. He can't draw into a broken time space, so I keep KOing Magikarp every time he hits the bench. One time by using Pokemon Collector for 3 Crobat G drops. I take 4 prizes with not one of them being my Garchomp CX, and he gets his Gyarados out. I let him KO one of my Crobats so that I can bring it back with Aaron's collection, and I Flash Bite, Poketurn, and Flash Bite, plus a Honchkrow G target attack to knock out his bench Sableye. I draw the Garchomp C level X from the prizes, and snipe for the last knockout the next turn. Game 2 goes by much quicker. His start is worse and mine is better, and I snipe all day for 6 straight prizes. I never attack his Gyarados once either game, and I make a miraculous comeback and get my revenge for my Swiss loss to move on to the top 4. Top 4 is versus a Palkia lock, and one of the best players in the area. I'm excited to get a trophy for the tournament, but when the PTO Vince lets me know that there's $1,000 on the line, the pressure is on. Game 1 ends pretty quickly. I use Cyrus's initiative and Chat on G to give him a bad hand and bad draws and take a 3 prize lead, to which he scoops. Game 2 goes by very similarly, but he slows me for a while with Mesprit drops and getting high HP Palkia level X's out. I keep giving him bad draws once the power lock stops, KO Palkia, and continually snipe around the second dropping a Palkia level X with Garchomp CX for the win. He had 3 prized water energy that game, which really hurts the deck a lot, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. I win the match, and I move into the finals. So I'm in the finals. This game instantly intrigues me because my opponent is playing a deck I've only seen my brother play. Garchomp C level X with Blaziken FB level X, and no Luxray level X. Game 1 starts, and he has a terrible hand. With no search cards, I drop the fire energy out of his hand with Cyrus's initiative and give him nothing to work with. I get 2 knockouts straight with Sableye, Crobat, Dark, and an Expert Belt, and he scoops early in. Game 2 goes, and he gets an early advantage with Blaziken and Jet Shoot. I prepare to counter with Toxicroak G promo, but both the Toxicroak G and Psychic are prize, and I have to find another way around. I try and give him a bad hand with Let Loose Giratina, but I just give him something to Luring Flame with Blaziken FB, leaving my heaviest retreat Pokemon stuck in the active spot. I try and make a comeback, but he's taken too much of a lead, and I lose. Game 3 is down to the wire, with lots of changes in leads and crazy plays. I start by trying to Cyrus's initiative and get double tails again, and he starts setting up Blazikens and Garchomps. I set up my Garchomps, and we end up sniping each other out, back and forth. Eventually, I lock his hand with a handful of unusable cards, and make the craziest gamble of the day. I have 3 Poketurns in my hand, a Collector, a Sableye, a Basic Dark, and an Expert Belt. I Collector for Uxie and 2 Crobat G, and use the Crobats plus Poketurns to drop 5 straight damage counters, hoping that he doesn't spray a single one. He's been thinking that I'm gonna drop the Uxie, but instead I attach and belt the Sableye and knock out his active Garchomp CX. From here, he scrambles to build up again, but I Garchomp snipe for the game. Great games, and I'm declared the winner of the Missouri Regional Championships. I'm exhausted, but thrilled to win a scholarship, a trip to nationals, the trophy, and some other great prizes. It was a long day with a lot of ups and downs, so here's all my props. And here's all my slops. Thanks guys for listening to my lengthy regionals report. Hopefully you learned something about this new unique deck, and I hope you guys did good at regionals too. Next week I'll talk about our new Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Unleashed set. Good luck preparing for Battle Roads, pre-releases, and eventually Nationals. I'll see you there. Today's information-packed episode was sponsored by BebeSearch.com, your ultimate Pokemon trading card game resource. BebeSearch.com has a ton of features, including easily printing proxies to cards you don't own already, without having to resize the image yourself. Checking out an individual player's organized play rating. You can search out yourself, the leaders, or even your entire family. You can search out a card by its individual text, either by an attack name or even effect text. If I type in Bright Look, Luxury GL Level X comes right up. And most importantly, BebeSearch.com lets you build and store comprehensive deck lists with pricing for each individual card. Not only can you compare the prices of different decks, but you can also buy cards from their affiliate site to fill in gaps of the deck that you need. Thanks to BebeSearch for supporting Profit. Check it out.